The Pistons are the basketball champions of the world.
Detroit, it's time. It's playoff time, Detroit. Let's go to work.
Shout out Detroit. I got to buff up, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, I'm all the way in. Detroit Pistons, I'm all the way in. Let's do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Buffs On Podcast. We are the best POD in the 313. We have some more Pistons basketball to talk about. The season is underway. The Pistons now at a 2-2 record. Some good, some bad, some really, really bad. We're going to get to all of it today. Let's just, I guess we'll just start with a free reign discussion. I really liked what I saw from the team in Houston, and for the most part against Boston. Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, Isaiah Stewart have all been pretty decent this season. 9-5 really being embraced by the city and the team community. So, Connie, you're first on my screen. What are some of your initial thoughts, disregarding, of course, last night's performance? We'll get to that in a bit, but your initial thoughts on the first couple of wins of the season.
I've loved the wins. I was really concerned about playing against Houston. I thought they were going to cause us some trouble just being that huge physical team. But what it feels like is happening so far is that it doesn't seem like we're outskilling in the two wins that we've won. It's just been like, it almost feels like pure outworking the other teams to get these wins. I mean, in Boston, we went down huge. And then we come back just through like Asar Thompson, doggedness, Paul Reed, doggedness, Ron Holland, doggedness. And it's not exactly like, oh, we're the most skilled, the best looking team out there, but it's just working. Like against the Rockets in clutch time, we went 1 for 10. But we still managed to score like 28 points down the stretch because we just kept possessions alive. You know, it's just offensive rebounding and fucking creating turnovers and stuff. That it's just like it has not, even the two wins have not been tremendously pretty. They have just been sort of like punch the other team in the mouth sort of wins. Yeah.
It has been, and those, I think, like you said Paul Reed. I forgot to mention him. Paul Reed has been absolutely fantastic. Most underrated signing of the offseason. Valley, your initial thoughts on the first couple of wins?
Yeah, I think based on what Connie said, it's really encouraging that that's how we're winning these basketball games because the backbone of our team, the identity of our team
Encouraging?
is this grit, is this defense. And although I do agree that we haven't like really outskilled teams to that level, I still think that that's an element of our game like that will come to us. We're not just 100% win because of grit and grind. We're going to win because we have skill. We are going to win because we have Cade. We have elite shooters like Duncan Robinson. So that for me is encouraging that we beat two very solid teams. I think at least one very solid team with this identity and that identity being the forefront because I do think that other pieces will come. And I think those pieces come with being more of a healthy team, having more ball handlers, which I'm sure we'll get into more. But the fact that we did win these two games almost solely off just grit, grind, determination, togetherness, really fought through adversity with Jalen Duren getting ejected. Side note, made me so happy to win that game after seeing Amen Thompson wave Jalen Duren goodbye. Just really great just to be able to wave back at him after the game, you know. But fighting through that and just winning by just doggedness. You mentioned Paul Reed. What a freaking dog. Always stays ready, Paul Reed. Uh, anytime he was on the screen against Houston, I don't know if you guys caught this, pouring sweat off of him, like literally just dripping sweat off of him, even after the game, post-game conference, like literally like a waterfall, like a stream. It shows how hard he works. So happy we were able to win with just grit and grind, but I'm ready for that next step to come in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and I thought that with Jalen Green leaving Houston, that like this game wouldn't be like as intense. I was so wrong. This game was absolutely intense from start to finish. Gabe, your thoughts on initial thoughts on the Pistons picking up their first two wins of the season?
Those sweaty guys, Valley, are the worst guys to guard. I know you know that yourself. I don't think it's a coincidence that the two teams we beat are incomplete teams. The Rockets without a point guard, so their offense can really get going ever. We saw that a lot. But they're big and they're tough, and we stepped up to the challenge. It was a great thing to see because we didn't do that against the Bulls, but then we come out and learn and step up. And Boston as well. I mean, they don't have Jason Tatum and they don't have a front court, but it was great to see Asar and JD just be the two like strongest guys out there on the court. I think they got away with a lot of fouls, especially one-time Piston, blanking on the name right now, the
Luka
big guy,
Garza.
Luca Garza, smacking some people, somehow not getting called for those fouls. Valley, I don't know if it's great defense. I just think those teams aren't necessarily great offensive teams. I think our defense is also still a work in progress, especially Peyton Pritchard against Duncan Robinson. But to be able to make up for those with those hustle points, with offensive rebounds, I mean, Asar grabbed what, like three in a row in that
Crazy.
Boston game towards the end.
All
Mhm.
putbacks too, pretty
Yeah,
much.
exactly. It was so like the will to win is there. I'd like to see that a bit more from Cade and some other guys maybe earlier in the game. Um, but yeah, I mean, 2-2 compared to 0-4 last year, you can't really complain. Just a
Mm-mm.
few things, I'm sure we'll
I
touch on a bit later.
Yeah.
I can complain. I don't know about you guys, but like coming out of this 2-2, I feel pretty bad.
The bad
Like
2-2.
it's a bad like the two teams. I don't think it's a coincidence that the two teams we've beaten also haven't gotten a win yet this season. Boston's 0-3, Houston.
Boston won last night.
Okay, they're 1-3 now.
They
Okay,
beat the Pelicans.
congratulations. Without Zion, um, the Bulls low key though, kind of good.
The Bulls are kind of good, actually.
Yeah.
But I just. I mean, other than like again, we get back to the hustle plays, we get to this great offensive rebounding. I'm really loving what I'm seeing out of Asar Thompson. I am not really enjoying watching this team on offense right now, and I think the main thing that comes down to is Cade Cunningham has not looked very good. I think he looks slow. I think he looks sloppy. He's just like there's been a couple times where he seems to like just kind of like haphazardly throw the lob in there to Jalen Duren. Like Duren will have two guys around him and he does that little like one hand flick over the side, just kind of lazy toss, and it's like sometimes it gets there, sometimes it doesn't. He's getting a lot of turnovers. Um, he's not shooting the ball very well, and he just looks heavy. Me personally, I'm about the same height. I'm a little shorter than, but about the same height as Cade Cunningham. And we said earlier this year that he's what up 243.
Mm-hmm.
Right
He looks
about
good.
right about 240 is when things start going wrong for me. And I'm not talking about just pain, but like just like moving around starts to get like a little bit different. You get a little less springy, you get a little less movement. You can move side to side a little bit below that. I think anything up to 240, I'm feeling good. But over 240, things start to slip a little bit. And Cade looks like not the same level of athlete that we saw last year. I mean, it's the beginning of the season. He could be playing himself into shape, but I think he is 10, 15 pounds overweight right now. And it shows with just like the speed at which he's playing. And I mean, you could say that we need secondary ball handlers, and we do need secondary ball handlers. But against the Celtics, when he went off the court, that's when the comeback started. And if you say there's no secondary ball handler with Kate out, there's no primary ball handler, but somehow it works out a little better, you know? He needs to like very much clean up what's going on with him for this Pistons team to actually have any sort of chance to be good.
Same case as yesterday. When Cade would come off the floor, the team would actually show a little bit more. Like there would be a little bit of something put together. It's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on over these next few games. Valley, your thoughts on Cade so far?
Yeah, I do think everything you are saying is incredibly valid. There are elements to Cade's game where I think he is lacking in the current moment in time, but also at the same time, the other teams, first of all, and before we even get into the game, there's so much more planning to Cade Cunningham this year. I know that grew over the course of the year last year, but you look at our roster and there is not a single other ball handler. Teams are days in advance. I don't know how that works, weeks in advance, preparing how to deal with Cade Cunningham and shutting Cade Cunningham down and understanding if you shut Cade down, you more than likely are going to shut this team down because the only ball handler they have on their team is a guy that doesn't get much run and is a G League player. Um, Cade is being faced by other teams' best defender on every single possession and is more often than not getting full court pressed. As soon as he comes off any screen, he is not double teamed, he is triple teamed and blitzed every single possession. And the natural way that Cade plays, he is naturally not the quickest guy, is not going to argue with his speed, but it disadvantages him in that instance to be kind of a play at your own pace guy when you're getting blitzed by 2 to 3 guys every single waking possession. He does not get a possession off. You can say he's shooting bad, and I think he could do more to assert himself more of getting to the rim, especially against Cleveland. But you look at every shot he's taking, it's a contested shot. There's a few middies he could have maybe knocked down, but he is taking contested shots, trying to find a way to get going. And in terms of the athleticism, I see absolutely no decline in his athleticism. Case in point, the two monstrous chase down blocks he's recorded this year, had a great one. Last time out against Cleveland. I thought he really seemed to elevate. His one lefty layup in the first quarter, like again, like I do think that the athleticism is there. I don't really think that's anything that's noticeably different. I genuinely think the biggest piece of this is him being faced by usually the best defender who has size to him. He's usually met one on one with a guy who has size, and then he's met by 2 to 3 extra bodies blitzing him completely. What are you going to do when Ron Holland looks pretty good shooting the ball, but still not proven? Asara absolutely not proven as a shooter. A lot of just shots also just coming off the rim. Like I think we're shooting a really bad percentage right now that I think will increase. But you
Really?
have a lack of spacing
Where else did it come off of?
we kind of have a lack of spacing right now in my general opinion. And I think
What?
that those numbers will go up, but he is desperately missing the aid of Jaden Ivey, let alone Karis LeVert, Marcus Sasser. I
Where's
think we're
that
just in
3-point shooting
desperate
gonna
need.
come from?
I just genuinely think like guys like Duncan's are not shooting too well. I think we're just missing good looks. Like I think Tobias can shoot it pretty well. Duncan's been shooting pretty good, don't get me wrong, but I think he's just missed a good amount of open threes. Shooting will come from hopefully guys who are coming back like Karis LeVert and Marcus Sasser, who are known 3-point shooters who have shot the ball well throughout their careers. I think it will be there. I think Tobias will hit some more. Stu's been excellent in terms of shooting the ball. Um,
But
but
all these guys,
I'm not gonna lie,
Other than Dunk and Robinson at like times if he's cooking, none of those guys are shifting the defense away from Cade Cunningham. Like
Jaden
Harry,
Ivey
Jaden Ivey,
is,
yeah.
and
If when
Karis LeVert to an extent can do that.
not
Certainly can.
Levert, not Levert.
Certainly, I think
He can hit a shot when it's a double team, but like he's not gonna be the shooter that pulls the help away from Cade Cunningham. They're not gonna be like, "Ooh, we gotta stop the Karis LeVert 3-pointer." They're gonna be like, "Okay, we can close out on a Karis LeVert 3-pointer, but we're still gonna make it hell for Cade." Like, other than Ivy coming back and being the shooter that he started to be uh, last season, or our favorite free agent right now coming back to the Pistons and saving us. Uh, I
He was watching a Piston game on the
like
stream the other day.
I don't see that aspect of it is gonna get better this year. Like the spacing is worse.
the
Uh,
spacing is for sure worse, but I do still think that our guys are just shooting worse than they really should. Like they're open shots, and I bet you like I don't know, like Cade going 1 for 7 as well. Like Cade is not a 1 for 7 shooter. I do think that
yeah,
his jumper's been a little bit slacking so far, but it's
it's
also because,
it's too
like
heavy.
he
Can't
has
get
to
a
shoot in an
lift.
instant because he's getting triple teamed. I actually think Cade looks pretty quick. I think he's playing quicker too. I think he's trying to get downhill in moments, which is kind of playing
Playing,
to
but
his
he's
downfall
moving
right now.
slower, bro. He's moving
Um,
slower.
I honestly don't think so, and I think defensively he's looking pretty dang solid on that side of things, and I think the weight is helping him in that regard. But um, I just feel really bad for him with the lack of spacing and the lack of anybody to handle the ball around him right now because we have to find some remedy to him being triple teamed. Ball movement is a glaring one that we can adjust right now, more off ball, on ball movement. But I just find it really difficult for Cade right now. And I don't think it's entirely on him, but I do think there's an initiative he needs to take to, for example, head down, get to the rack more against when it is a brief moment of one guy, just being way stronger than him getting to the hoop. But it's really difficult, and I think coach has a big task on his hand to try to get Cade going right now.
Gabe, you got anything to add?
It just looks like Pistons from 2 years ago, where, like Valley mentioned, it's just 3-on-1 for Cade all the time, and he is not making the right reads and the early passes out of those double teams. It's like he has to get reacquainted to that type of offense. 'Cause I'm sure, like when we play in the summer, like within the team, they're not triple teaming Cade, right? They're just playing basketball 5-on-5. So I'm sure that will come and get alleviated a little bit once Ivy returns. We just don't have as much spacing this year. He needs to figure out how to play within that system because, like, other players manage. Like Luca has played in that system. I don't know, some other like Tyrese Maxey. Like these players get off the ball or just move and make their decision quicker. So I'm sure I'm not the one thing that worries me with Cade right now is A, the turnovers that they're not improving, but that might just improve when Ivy comes back, and B, more importantly, is the 3-point shooting. He's still like I hate when he takes those threes where he like kind of like hunches his whole body into the shot and you just know it's going to miss. For him to be like to take that next step as a player, he needs to be like a guy who hits consistently 4 or 5 threes a game, like to be a threat like that. And right now, it's just not him. He's a pretty good catch and shoot guy once he has his form and everything. But for me, that's concerning. I don't think, I think there will be that, like you mentioned, a regression to the mean on the team's 3-point shooting. But I do think K just isn't that type of shooter right now, and
I
really, like, he just needs to like just take a lot of quick take threes, man.
I think his jumper, like I'm genuinely having an expectation that it's going to drop every time. I know it hasn't been there yet, but I think also from what I saw from preseason and regular season, I have confidence in Cade's jumper right now, and especially his 3-point shot. I know it hasn't exactly been like that so far, but I do think with the aid of having another ball handler, like shot selection, the shots he will take will be easier. They will be more open. And even though the shots are, and even including the shots he's taking right now, I'm still expecting a higher percentage of those to go in over the course of time. I believe in Cade's jumper, and I do think that we'll see that percentage rise up pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's been a rough start for the Pistons and especially Cade Cunningham so far. We've been talking down on Cade for a little bit, so I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. Isaiah Stewart's 3-pointer. You guys had mentioned it in that little rant right there how we have to have shooters that are going to draw the defense out. I think Isaiah Stewart is well on his way to being a guy that's going to be able to at least be a semi threat from beyond the 3-point line. I normally start with Connie today, so Gabe, I'll go to you first. Your thoughts on Stu's shot so far this season?
It really comes back to my hot prediction that every day is looking like more and more of a truth that he will lead the team in 3-point percentage. Talk about a guy who every time he takes a three, I expect it to swish right through. I love his form, and he's just been like a aside from his 3-point shooting, he's been awesome this season. I think he personally, aside from Ron Holland, maybe has taken the biggest step towards just being a more improved all-around player. He seems to like do a little bit more on offense, just like dribble around a little, look for a pass, force his like mismatch post up more. I think Stu, like if we're just talking about skill, he should probably be starting over Duran right now. I understand why he's not because you want the lob threat and development as JD as the starting five. We see a few more double big minutes. Valley, I know you like that. It's working. I think it could work way more efficiently, but I think that's the thing they will get used to. Also, kind of off topic, Jalen Duran did hit a mid range, which was almost a three. Uh, didn't look quite as smooth as Stu, but yeah. I mean, you guys have anything else to add on Stu?
Valley, Connie?
Yeah, I've loved what I'm seeing from his three ball. My big complaint that I've said plenty of times before on this is that he used to be like he was like an open shooter. Like give him a second or two and he'll get the shot up and it might go in. This season he is being much snappier with how quick he takes the three from when he
Mm-hmm.
touches it. He had one pick and pop and he missed it last night, but it was straight up just pick, pop, defender coming out. He shoots it. Um, it has looked much nicer. Um, I mean, his interior is looking pretty bad right now. But that's I think also has to do with like the lack of spacing. He's 4 for 12 on layups so far this season.
His hands
Uh,
have always been a concern from us too, and I think we're still
yeah,
seeing that just may be something that he has.
he's always like he's a bit of a reckless finisher around the hoop. But did improve in that last year, and that is a number. Like right now, he's shooting 31% on twos, 32% on twos. I do think that's gonna go up. Um, yeah, I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Stu. His defense is still his defense. He's definitely, I think, so far. I mean, it gets me into my next guy that I want to hate on. But he has been the best, been the best center on this team so far this season, I think.
Valerie, you got anything to add on Stu, or should we let Connie do a little more hating?
I definitely want to touch on Stu a little bit. I do agree that I think he's been the best pick on our roster this season. Always provides just 100% energy. Jumps with everyone. I didn't mind it that much. I dislike the Peacock commentary. I miss George and Greg, but they loved Stewart on that commentary. Even though we're down big time, they're hyping up Stu, saying, "Man, he jumps with everything. He doesn't care if he gets dunked on. Heck of a rim protector." Really doesn't care if he gets dunked on. Shown by Jared Allen's dunk yesterday. But yeah, the speed of his release I think has been really encouraging. He seems to have taken a step with his 3-point shot. Doesn't hesitate if bigs are dropping off of him. Really makes them step up, earns their respect. I love how quick he's been shooting that, and the single play that I think gets me like most excited was against Boston when we were down early. That corner three that Isaiah Stewart hit after Jalen Duren caught on the roll. Um, Jalen Duren did that a couple times actually in that quarter, but that one in particular to Stu is really, really exciting. One other thing I love with Stu playing at the four is he brings that ball up the court a lot, and every time he's up there, he looks for JD who has his man sealed. Because I know that Stu wants that same pass every single time. He looks to throw that pass to JD, which I just like. He throws it at a pretty decent rate without turning it over too. Yeah, jumper's been excellent. He's been arguably our best player so far this season. I think he did struggle a bit against Cleveland shooting the ball, but still knocked the three down. And like you said, Ahmed, I do think he's on the way towards getting that respect, being a guy that you have to watch out in the pop four, which will help our team a lot.
Absolutely, Connie. We're back to you for the little hate segment.
The other center on this team, Jalen Duren, has had, I think, of the 4 games, one good game against the Celtics, which did not start as a good game.
Yep.
And but down the stretch, he got 4 fouls against the Celtics pretty quick. He has been a foul machine recently. And every time like he is in complete disbelief that he committed a foul as he very clearly commits a foul. Like every pump fake, he's jumping on and then he lands on him and it's like, "Yep, you've been in the NBA 4 years, man." They call that every single time. It's nothing new. Um, it's been a foul machine, and then like there was maybe this is my own fault because I had an expectation. I was very high on him, and I do still think absolutely there. It's 4 games into the season. There's going to be a nice Jalen Duren run, but this is feeling very similar to last year, where at the beginning of the year we were. I remember being pretty upset with Jalen Duren and the stuff that he was doing, and it just seems like that sort of stuff is coming back, where he's trying to do a little bit. He's trying to do too much a lot of the time and forcing an issue in a way that exceeds his skill cap right now. For instance, against the Celtics in the beginning of the game, Quinta got a bucket on him. And the next 2 times down, he tries to do like go at Quinta in a way that's like, "Oh, you're a bum center. I'm a guy with skill." And he tries to do something like off the dribble with a little bit of action, and it just fucks up. Like it's a turnover or just something. Um, there was a play last night that really upset me where Duncan Robinson, the ball bounces. It is basically in Robinson's hand, and this is on a rebound to go the other way. Duran tips it to try to get his own rebound, like out of Duncan's hands, right in front of him, and the Cavs get the ball and they score. And it's just like these like there's just so much of this like brain dead action that's coming from Duran, where I feel like not brain dead. Brain dead's too much, but
Can I
Lack in
can I share
judgment.
what they kind of these plays remind me of?
what?
because I feel like I've seen him in the past. They remind me of the exact same shit Andre Drummond would do time and time again.
Dude.
He's great. Excuse me, Dern it is such a plus. He has this ability to go near pretty much coast to coast, like bring the ball up the court, go all the way, put that shoulder down, get to the hoop. It's great. It's great he can make the pass out of that too. But it is so excessive, Connie. You are right on the money. After 2, 3 times in a row against Kid, after turning it over, doing that exact same thing, trying to run down the court, just hold the ball and hand it to your point guard. I understand we want to run. It is such a plus and a great dynamic he provides to this team to be able to do that. But there's sometimes you just got to check the boxes of being a big man first. And it just scares me so much. I feel like we've lived this before. Big man with extreme potential and shows flashes of being more than just a quote unquote traditional big man. But this is just so eerily similar to the way Andre Drummond plays basketball, where you do these cool things and then you kind of get too hype and you hype yourself up too much and then you go do stupid things that hurts the team. I'm just worried about it. And those flashes where he just wants to dribble up the court, they just remind me of it so much. But please keep going on what you were on.
Yeah, I mean he needs more of a role player mentality. Because that is where he is at his absolute best, is being a freak roller down the lane, getting offensive rebounds, being a huge athletic body, but then yeah, he just takes too big a bites off the apple and sometimes he chokes on it, man. Like hitting a little like off the dribble where he takes it off the dribble from the 3-point line, but then he gets to the right side of the hoop and it's like, oh, I don't know what I want to do now. So he just like throws up a little shot and it does not go in. Um, and it's just do less. Do do so much less. Because when it started working against the Celtics, um, he got 8 offensive rebounds and 24 points and 18 boards after he committed that fourth foul. And what happened is he just did less. He let the game happen to him. He let his guards throw him lobs. He just worked for offensive rebounds. And it's like that's 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 how you impact the game as JD. It's not, man, I'm just thinking like they were hyping him up a little bit in the Cavs game, and he starts going coast to coast, and he kind of gets past Jaron Allen, and they're like, oh yeah, he's got some skill, and then he dribbles it off his foot and kicks it
Yep.
out of bounds, and it's like, all right, pal. I understand that Cavs game we needed anything to happen, and like giving it to Cade probably wouldn't have turned out that much better, but just a little. He's got like in his mind that he's an all-star already, and it's like, and it I just has but his skill hasn't caught up to it quite yet.
And I think it's good to have like these moments, these flashes where you show like you are again like more than the traditional center, like you are capable of having this passing game or capable of showing this I can go coast to coast. But there's just times for it, man. And I also think like he likes to play for the camera. Like I feel like his head's not 100% in the game sometime. Case in point, him throwing the ball away against Boston after we just turned it over. It's a foolish turnover from him. He gets back, makes a hell of a play, blocks Hugo Gonzalez. And then the first thing he does is start waving the finger and like sticks his tongue out. I'm like, dude, you just threw the goddamn ball away.
And he
That's
fouled
what my middle
him.
school coach would have gave him an absolute earful right
Oh,
there.
Mr. Hollis.
Mr. Hollis.
And I
Mr.
never thought he
Hollis.
would be right, but he's right, like
And he fouled him too. That was a
and he
foul
fouled the
on
crap out of
Hugo
him, man. He fouled
Gonzalez.
the crap out of him, but still effort to make the play. But like that's where I'm just saying, like, just do what you gotta do, man. Don't just jump and throw a random pass. You made it over half court, great. Take care of the ball, like do the next step. That's not just like, oh, look, I did this. Um, I want to note that I hated Jalen. I didn't hate. Hate's a strong word. I disliked the way Jalen Durham played a lot. Probably the first half of last season. I think I had every right to. And I'm just worried that this is the same thing where he just kind of messes around at the start of years and then he switches it on. I really hope that that is the case because his effort level in moments has been abysmal. His best game of the year was Boston. He was an absolute menace against Boston. I was pissed in the first half. You guys, I was texting you in the Boston chat. I'm like, what's this guy doing? Does he not want to get paid? And then he goes and does that in the second half, and it's just so confusing as to why can you be that dominant in such. It's a simple way you can be dominant. Why don't you just be dominant? Really, really confusing with me so far, and it's been pissing me off. Gabe, anything about JD?
Um, yeah, I think there's kind of two extremes that you could take. Like Wemby last year was taking threes and like doing stuff he should never be doing, but because it's good for his long-term development, allow him to play outside of his comfort range. So if we lean all the way that way and say, JD, go ahead, be like Giannis type player, be Jokic type player, and let's like experiment. And he makes mistakes, and like, okay. But he's kind of in that in between area where he's not doing enough of, and like we're not running the ball through him enough in unique ways where he'd be learning to the future. It's like you said, they're the kind of like bad habits, they're kind of bad takes to do. I do wish like we just give him the ball and like have him try to pass out of the post, like and do some cuts and stuff because he's a great passer. He's not necessarily the best one-on-one offensive player, but against teams like Boston, where he clearly has the advantage, like we can run an offense based on his advantage in the post. I do like, so I really, I think it'll help more with Jaden Ivey there, where he'll just eat on easier opportunities. But I do think we could do more to be helping him out in his development if we want him to be more than just the Derek Lively, catch lobs, play D, which is a great player to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been throwing a lot of hate around today. I wanna praise Ron Holland real quick.
Can I also just real quick praise Ron Holland, but the reason that we're hard on Duren is because there is such incredible potential, and he did have 24 and 18 on like most of it after 4 fouls against the Celtics, playing fantastic and knocking down 12 of 13 free throws. And there is just so much potential that like that's why we get frustrated with it. That's why we hate on him, because there's like there is a great player inside of there if he just starts playing like it. But continue.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that's why we get frustrated with a lot of the guys on this team, is because we can see what they can be, but they sometimes just get in their own way. A guy that has done a nice job of getting out of his own way and taking a step forward, Ron Holland, hitting his shots when it's slowly coming along. And defensively, he's been absolutely locking guys up. I've loved what I've seen from Ron Holland. Valley, your thoughts on Ron?
I think Ron is going to be an all-star one day. The trajectory he's on right now. So aggressive. He seems a little too aggressive sometimes, a little out of control. Wants to go too fast, but I think that's just part of the learning of being 19 years old, being a second-year guy in the NBA. I've loved what I've seen from him. It's a scary thought to me to see what will happen when he fills his body out more. I was reminded of that when Spida absolutely bodied him in the third quarter last game. So
Yeah.
once he puts some more muscle on, man, it's a really scary thought, and I think that's when we could potentially see like the height of his career. But man, he's been great. I love that we have him and Stu off the bench. I can only imagine once we have our guys back healthy, how deep we'll be. But the energy they bring off the bench, the energy Ron brings off the bench is huge. Just like a definition of a junkyard dog, man. Like dives for loose balls, just does everything. Grit, grind. I thought he's a grinder on defense too. And the 3-point shot, it looks it looks half decent. It really does. I don't mind a catch and shoot Ron Holland 3-pointer right now. I think mechanically it's pretty solid. Um, and I think it's not, I think I know it's so dang exciting to see him and Asar get consistent time together on the wings. And you can just see, and you saw it firsthand against Boston, how scary they can be defensively as some wings. Great to see that 9 to 5 in action. But I think Ron has just been exactly so far what we realistically could have hoped in terms of the leap he's taken into this season.
Gabe, I go to you for a little more praise on whoever you want to praise real quick before we send it over to Connie to praise whoever he wants to praise, and then throw a little crystal ball at us.
I'll stick right with Ron Holland, man. I've absolutely loved the step he's taken. The flashes last year, he's really developed into being. He's a terror on the fast break every time. He has shown a few things, like some handles, some ISO scoring in the half court, and I mean to have like an actual jump shot that looks good and goes in. I really see a world where he's starting, maybe, this year pretty soon. Because he is just like, when he comes on, we start to like, we start to win, right? Like that's what happens. And, he comes on with Stu usually. So it's, probably them both on the court is who should be starting if we just want to win short-term games. But man, Ron, there's all these trades that he's floating around occasionally for like Lowry and stuff, and like Ron is in those trades where like he's almost like over Ron, over Asar right now for me of like untouchable guys. Like for me, like everything I see in Ron is like the prototypical NBA wing that you want on your team. He reminds me a lot of a young Jason Tatum actually. Just like the way he moves and plays. He's not as like fluid offensively, but it's not like he's like broken offensively. He's just like it'll take a few more reps for him than it did Tatum.
He's caught the Jaylen Brown comparison. Gabe going with a different Celtic this time. Jason
He
Tatum.
also caught Jaylen Brown's hair on
He
his
did. I was
on
gonna go
his
into
jersey.
that too. Yeah, no one wear white jerseys when you play Boston. Connie, your thoughts on Ron Holland or Asar, whoever else you want to praise?
Yeah, no, Ron's been great. I love the energy he plays with. His touch has seemingly improved, and like, yeah, defensively he's a monster. The energy that he plays with, like, and not only energy, but he gets a little, he's a little foul happy, but like he's working that out a little bit more. There is like some good fundamental stuff to his defense, mirroring a ball handler in ways that like we see like Asar do. I've loved what I've seen out of Asar. Um, I don't know if that much has changed. Uh, but actually, there has been some change. But just seeing more of him, seeing 35 minutes of Asar in a basketball game is freaking awesome. And there does seem to be a little bit more confidence getting buckets, especially down in that Celtics game as it came along. As we went on, he seems to have a little bit more confidence, just kind of like mostly through the post. He went through Derek White once. He had like a little turnaround, but just trusting in his handle and his ability to get to a spot, and going up and making that shot is some of like some of the best offense that we're creating right now. Um, he continues to be a monster on the defensive end, a disruptor, causing problems. His energy is fantastic, and he even knocked down his free throws against Boston.
7 of 8.
7 of 8, which like if he's going 7 of 8, I can't help but be incredibly excited about that. Um, Only played 15 minutes against the Cavs. Kind of a stinker. It was a stinker for everybody.
I think
But
he went back to the locker room at one point. I think I saw that going around on Twitter.
uh-oh. Well, he had 4 fouls in 15 minutes. And I think JD was just like,
That's
all
it.
right, because we ended up playing like everybody on the roster. We saw
He got Kobe Jones minutes.
we
It was
had
a good day.
Tolu Smith minutes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It went deep against Cleveland because that one was an ugly one. But Asar Thompson, other than that, has been absolutely fantastic. Outplayed his brother in Houston. I think was the main reason I think that we won the Celtics game. And yeah, have loved Asar so far.
Absolutely. Asar Thompson. I mean, most of what we've seen from Asar has been great. I can tell he's been watching Cade footage all off season by the way he's attacking and spinning, half spinning. It's just funny to me to see how he like maneuvers like pick and rolls and stuff and how he's attacking guys off of those. And I've loved almost everything I've seen from Asar. I wish the shot was not as poor as it is, but if he can start hitting the little middies and it's something that we can semi go to when we need a shot, then I'm here for it. But I've loved almost everything I've seen from Asar. Gabe?
Yeah, I think the main thing that sticks out to me offensively is how patient he is once he does have the ball in close. He loves the little pump fakes, step throughs, and then just kind of elevating the guy, and no one can keep up with him. I don't love the like snaking into the mid-range shot, but like you said, if that's what it takes to get his like jump shot rhythm and confidence and hopefully range one day, then I'll let him take those. Same old defender, still a great passer, still a great offensive rebounder. Um, we had the conversation about do we limit our own offense with him being the ball handler? I think that's still kind of apparent that there's no real other cutting option when the other guys just don't move as much as he does.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still that, which I think again will help when Jaden Ivey comes back. But yeah, he's been awesome. Probably I mentioned earlier that Stu probably took the biggest leap aside from us, aside from Ron. It's probably been Asar. Actually, he is before last night's game averaging 17 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, which is borderline, like all-star snub numbers. Still a great guy to have on the court. I wish he would continue to play more minutes, but he is just offensively limited at times.
Yeah, and the offense as a whole has been stagnant at times, and that's been contributing to some of our struggles. Valley, your thoughts on Asar before we kick it over to Connie for a little crystal ball action?
Yeah, even hit a catch and shoot against Houston from downtown, which was really good to see. Yeah, Sar's been great. I think just his natural athleticism and knack for the game just provides a unique edge to us. His freakish athleticism was on display. We don't close that game out against Boston without him and his athleticism, those putback dunks he had. But him on the defensive side of things, especially the rebounding, like offensive rebounding is one thing, but what do you have, 12, 13 boards against Houston? It's just really evident. And like they're big boards. They're not just like, you know, since we brought his name up before, they're not Andre Drummond rebounds. Like he's jumping up as high as possible and coming down with a big valuable rebound. I think that's been most noticeable for me. But yeah, actually has an offensive threat to him, which is really exciting. And I like what JB Bickerstaff said about him, how it's really up to him. JB has the chance to make him grow and try things that make Asar Thompson grow, how we can guard 1 through 5, and now we have him being our backup point guard essentially. Sky's the limit for Asar, and I think we're just seeing it, and it's exciting to see some touch and some offensive skill, not just pure athleticism in these first 4 games.
Connie, I kick it over to you for a little crystal ball action.
Well, as you know, magic needs a conduit, and I am a powerful magician. And the conduit for my magic is hatred and anger. We worked it out a couple times a couple years ago. Last year, I kind of lost my ability because I just wasn't angry enough at this team, but I've got it back a little bit. And here's my crystal ball. Cade's gonna lose 15 pounds, that fat boy, and he's gonna start hitting his three-pointers again because he can lift off of the ground. Um, Jalen Duren, I mean, I have some vitriol towards Jalen Duren right now. Uh, I mean, he just has to stop committing like just dumb plays. He's gonna have a one game where he plays like a good smart game the whole way through. 2.5 turnovers a game for Jalen Duren, 5.5 for Cade Cunningham. I mean, these are the guys who just have to get better. They have to improve, and if I'm right, they will.
All right. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is Cade going to lose 15 pounds? Is Jalen Duren going to have a really, really solid game where he stops making dumb plays? Anything else before we close out this pod?
What's our schedule next week?
Our schedule upcoming. So we got Orlando coming up on Wednesday, and then we head to Mexico City to play the Dallas Mavericks on Saturday. And then we play in Memphis on the 3rd, but we'll just go to Sunday to this point. So next 2 games, Orlando, Dallas. What are we thinking?
Really quick, I just would be damned if we didn't have a quick mention of Paul Reed.
Yeah.
I know we just briefly touched on him, but don't win in Houston without Paul Reed. He's been a machine. I wanted to ask you guys a quick question as well before we got into that. What do you make of Javonte Green?
I don't know yet. Like I think he has to find the right unit where he fits in, for his role to be like fulfilled. But
I see some defensive upside from him, but man, I'm pissed whenever he's on the court.
his shot, I thought he was a better shooter than he was.
Can't shoot for
I thought he was
shit.
better at wide open layups than he was too.
I heard I think it was on yesterday's No Dumps pod. Trey Kirby, because he played on the Bulls last year, said he's like great to have out there when he's making his energy plays, but when he's not making those, he's just kind of standing out there. And I think that's a pretty good thing. He might be in that Tony Snell club of the old 0 0 0 0 0
Yeah.
on the stat line when he's not like locked in with the Ron Holland type energy. He's fine right now while Jaden Ivey's out. I would love for that to be Fontecchio instead. That's still my only gripe with JB is to let him go because he didn't play him in the playoffs.
I'd like a little more Chaz Lanier too.
Yeah, same. I would love more Chaz Lanier. Actually, if you guys don't mind, I have a really quick top 5 prettiest jump shots in the NBA based on Chaz Lanier making 2 threes.
No way he's in that list.
I love his jump shot. Chaz Leonard is on the list, but he's like borderline because I haven't seen enough like different takes that he can take.
All
This is
right.
also inspired by Cedric Coward. He's on that list. Rookie from Memphis, beautiful jump shot. Tyrese Maxey I mentioned earlier. This guy has leveled up his 3-point shooting. It's lightning quick. It's like Trae Young with a little bit more like form behind it. Of course, Steph Curry. And then I have a little bit of a three-way tie for between KD, Wemby, and Tim Hardaway Jr., all with very like fluid pull-up jumpers.
No Laurie
So,
Markkinen. Laurie Markkinen is one of my favorite jump shots
no,
in the
it's a little bit too
NBA.
like
Yeah,
too deep,
it's
but man, this guy
like
can
a
shot
robot.
50. I like
I need
he'd fit in pretty well on this team.
He
That's
would
all
fit
I'm
in so
saying.
well on this team,
It's just
bro.
the problem is you trade for him, sure, you trade Tobias, you trade Javonte Green, you trade Karis LeVert. Who are you throwing in? You throwing in Asar, Ron, or
Jalen,
JD?
JD.
No hesitation.
No,
No, there was no
no.
hesitation at all whatsoever.
Whoa, strong wings. We have good center play outside of him. Having Laurie Markkinen would solve so many problems for this team right now. Like it would be insane, and it would allow Asar Thompson to play even better with more spacing out there. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be pretty wild.
But
He,
anyway, going
all
back
enough
to your
to make it work with the if we gave up JD. But anyways,
going back to your question, Amit. This week looking pretty winnable. I'd love to say that my Magic hating is already working because they look stinky once again. They cannot play offense. If we hit more threes than them, we will win the game. It's just a matter of us taking and hitting threes. Dallas also doesn't look too good with Cooper Flag kind of learning the ropes at point guard right now. So I think that like
What about
we should
Memphis?
we should win those two games.
they're
I'm
both going to be.
expecting 1-1.
What about Memphis? There's 3 games this week.
I cut it off at Sunday. We want to include Memphis? We can.
I mean, it's a week from whatever.
That's cool. That's cool. I'll say if we include Memphis, I'll say 2-1.
They're going to be some dogfights, man. Orlando has a lot of size. I'm worried about how they've also historically defended Cade. Worried about Bain just getting on a heater as he did against us.
Always. You're gonna drop 70 tomorrow.
Same goes to Dallas with how big they are. I'm concerned as to how they're going to defend Cade.
Yeah, and they got that big three monstrous center unit: AD, Lively, Gafford.
Lively is the most overrated player in the NBA.
Ooh,
But wow,
Yeah.
He was a creation of Luka Doncic, bro.
That's
He
true.
ain't the same guy. What did you say, Val? You said what
I don't know.
record?
I think I would love to say 3-0, but I think these are just going to be grit and grind games, and I think it's hard to win 3 of those. So I'll go 2-1.
Connie.
I'm gonna go 1-2. I think
You're a full hater mode.
Orlando and Memphis are going to give us problems. I am really looking forward to Cooper Flag trying to play point guard with Asar Thompson guarding him.
Me too.
I think that's not going to go well for Cooper Flag.
I don't think so either.
We showing out in Mexico City this time.
Cooper Flag, one of those guys that Gabe was talking about earlier. Like, it's definitely not good for the Dallas Mavericks right now for him to be playing point guard this year, but like
For
5 years down the line, it probably is.
Well, I think we covered a lot today, and I think we were pretty balanced on the hatred and the optimism. Anything else before we get out of here? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Buffs on Podcast. Let us know what you thought about the pod, how you feel about the team as we sit at 2-2. How many games are we going to win next week? A lot of things you can put down in the comments section. We want to interact with you guys, so please feel free to contact us there. But until next time, after the Pistons play Memphis, throw the Buffs on Detroit, because I think we all still believe, even though we're a little pessimistic, the future is bright.